Happy Aloha Friday, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, happy Aloha Friday. And I'm going to set an intention. We're just going to have a really great time. Let's have some fun today.
We need a drink.
I
got my drink. Do you have a drink?
It's not very icy today.
No, it's not. It kind of melted a little bit.
It's hot in Hawaii. Actually, it's not hot in Hawaii. And you know what? I just realized that Thursday, a big earthquake happened in New Zealand. And I start my morning, I get up early, I do a meditation before I can handle the news. And thank God I did, because when you wake up and you turn the things on and you look at your phone or you look at the news and it's like, by the way, Hawaii is under a tsunami watch. You're like, oh my God, what happened? And then you start figuring out, what are your evacuation plans and what do you have to do to prepare for something like that?
It's too late for that already.
Well,
good Lord. By the time you wake up, it's like the wave could have been there already.
That can happen in the middle of the night for sure. I've had many tsunami scares, hurricane scares, all those kinds of things. You know, you live anywhere on the planet, their weather can be crazy. And I think it's just kind of getting crazier. Texas, snowing is, come on, that's like a total mark of everything's crazier. So I'm really grateful that the tsunami watch canceled and, you know, everything's fine in Hawaii. So thank goodness.
That's just crazy. I don't think a lot of people understand like the power of a tsunami or how like quick it could come. I mean, literally, I think if it was like at least a 20, 30 foot wave, like Hawaii would be wiped out. Like Oahu, most of Waikiki would be gone. I just read on Yahoo's website that they just started to bring up the whole CDC has like started to promote again, like how to prepare for a zombie apocalypse. And a lot of people thought it was a joke. But their whole premise is that if you prepare for any kind of disaster, even a zombie apocalypse, you're pretty much prepared for anything. And the funny thing is, like, the time that I lived there when they had tsunami alerts and things, people were like last minute buying
their supplies.
Stuff. And I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, it's too late. It's too late for that. I mean, a tsunami can come in 2 minutes. 15 minutes, one day, like you just never know. So you should already have an escape route, like you said.
Right.
Or an emergency kit.
You always should have an emergency kit all the time. You should. If you have one in your car, that's a bonus. But if you have one, just a grab and go bag, you want to have like copies of all your documents. You want to have your wallet and an extra change of clothes would be really helpful. And then if you had like a list of maybe things that would be great to have in an emergency, like some certain snacks, some water, also very helpful. Especially if you have like a pet, you should definitely have a grab and go bag for your pet as well, and children, of course.
Yeah. I've recently made a presentation on emergency preparedness, and I kind of catered it towards like preparing for a zombie apocalypse. So, I mean, I think all of these things are valid, but like in an emergency, a lot of people don't really think about the things that they need. And we'll be posting this emergency preparedness slide deck on our website, mytais@sunset.com, and some tips and tricks because you call it like a to-go bag. But it's actually a bug out bag. That's what we like to call it. So, it'll have some terms on there. It'll have, definitions and also things that you will never think about. I mean, for Hawaii, I would say a solar charger is a great thing to have because it's so sunny there. So if there's ever a full electricity, like power outage and all that stuff, like at least you still have the sun.
Yes, we do. We're so very lucky. And it will dry everything out eventually.
Yeah, that is the hope. But I'm glad you all are safe. It was pretty scary on Thursday to like wake up and see a tsunami alert. I think it's just scary in general to get any kind of alert. In Texas, my phone's been going off with all these Amber Alerts, and I just feel so bad because it's like constant. It's a constant full alert for everybody who has a cell phone. Pretty much, you just get these Amber Alerts all day long, and they have signs everywhere. It's been really. Also, there's been like so many accidents on the road, lots of big news accidents, and and things. And I think a lot of people are just, because now people are starting to try to return to work. You know, Texas governor lifted that mask mandate and had something to do with the Constitution. I don't know it all, the Texas Constitution. And I was just like, either way, like more people are out. I saw like people like ripping their masks off in the middle of like stores and stuff and feeling liberated. And I just think that, you know, in my opinion, you know, as a healthcare professional and amongst other things, like another human being, I just thought it was like, crazy to see that and witness people just throwing three sheets to the wind, just like, whatever, I'm going to run around. It's basically like, it's so weird to see somebody without a mask now. It's like they're running naked through the store.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's what it looks like. It's like, oh, shoot, look at you running naked through the store, you know, without your mask on or whatever.
I kind of wonder if, well, that this is not going to go away anytime soon. The need for masks, the need to be vigilant about your own health. I mean, even if you have been vaccinated, the mutations and the strains and even the common cold that could have similar symptoms that could freak you out. I mean, I just think that masks are going to be the new normal. You know, I think Japan was like doing it way before it was mandatory, you know, before it was cool.
Oh, yeah. When I was like in, you know, Asia or like, you know, China, especially in Japan, like people would wear masks and they would sell them. And I always thought it was like so weird to see like people in masks, and now it's like everybody's in a mask. And speaking of like vaccines and stuff, you know, my brother and my sister-in-law were vaccinated this week. Johnson & Johnson, believe it or not. Like they, and my brother, what's funny is he had a slight reaction to the Johnson & Johnson. I think it's also because it's a single dose. Like it might be a little bit more potent than the other ones. He started having, he was like, man, I feel so hot. I'm flush and I'm itchy and everything is just going wrong. And he's like turned into this massive baby. And I was like, you're just going through menopause.
Oh, no.
Like he was like, shut up. Like I was like, that's my medical opinion, is that you're just going through menopause. And then he was like, you know what those ladies asked me at you know, the vaccination site? And I was like, what? And he goes, they asked me if I was pregnant. And I was like, well, you never know. Miracles do happen. That poor guy. Like, I was just like, they asked you if you're pregnant? And he's like, yeah. He called me the whole time. He was like, what do I fill out? What do I do this? Like, he didn't even read the email. It like literally said, please print out this paperwork prior to your vaccination appointment. And he called me and he was like, I only printed out the barcode. And I was like, there should have been a packet that you filled out. And he was like, I didn't do that. And I was like, okay, so be calm. You're just going to go up there. You're going to get the packet. You're going to go back to your car. You're going to fill it out. Everything's going to be great. And then you just go back in the line. And he was like grumpy as all get out, like about it. And I was like, look, at least I'm mentally preparing you for this, because if I didn't, you would be
But
pissed
how lucky
off.
he is to get the vaccine.
Oh, they're just vaccinating like anybody over 18 now in Houston. Like you can come get it, but they only tell you the day before. So a lot of people are like, oh crap, I got to work, you know, like, or I have to do all this and this. And I mean, it's not convenient for people in certain areas of Houston. Like you have to drive like an hour to get there.
Okay.
And it's not as organized as it could be. Like this one was not a drive-through. And they should have just filtered it out. Like, if you have paperwork, you get in this line. If you don't have paperwork, come here, get it. Here's some pens. Like, go ahead and fill that out. And I think that would have made everything a lot smoother for everyone. My brother said, like, people were mean. They're frustrated. Like, they were just angry about everything. The parking situation was terrible. And I was like, one day we're going to get it. And it'll be already, like, way into it. Probably by June or July, we'll have it done where we're just... Anybody with a livable arm, moving arm, will get, you know, vaccinated. So it's really great. You know, I'm glad that they've got it. I still think it's funny. My brother turned into a big baby with his little side effects. But yeah, it's just definitely something that you didn't think of like a couple weeks ago that everybody would be getting vaccinated.
I hope that I'm on the list next. I really am excited to take care of myself, my own health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, you know, your entire family, you know, will be eligible for that. I think with the release of the Johnson & Johnson one, like now they have so many different types of doses out there. Like they're even giving people options to take different ones. Like, do you want the Johnson & Johnson? Do you want the Pfizer one? Like You want Moderna? It doesn't matter. Like but they'll give you the option because they want to know, do you want to come back for another shot, or do you want to just try to duke it out with like one dose? And I think it's really nice that people get options, because I mean, I feel like in other countries where people don't have as many different like liberties, are just getting injected
whatever
with
they got. Yeah.
is available. Yeah. And hopefully things improve. I'm still confused why some of the states don't have mask mandates. Like, I thought that was going to be something that we all do until like a certain amount of the population is vaccinated. It makes sense.
Especially if you're traveling.
And
you're traveling from state to state. And Hawaii has some of the strictest traveling still to come here. You have to be tested before, 3 days before your flight, and then you also be tested when you land. And you have to have all of that documentation with you. And you have to take certain tests, and different islands actually within our state have different rules and how much you're allowed to like explore or if you have to quarantine. I mean, you just have to really be vigilant and keep researching it.
I mean, if you really want to go there, you should do your due diligence to protect the people that actually live there.
Because we're trapped on our little island.
Be respectful. Yeah, I feel like, I hate to say this, but Hawaii in a zombie apocalypse, not a great place to be. Like, just hands down, I
shall be a zombie.
I know. And then it's an island of zombies that are all sunburned. Like, I just feel you guys, your decay rate will be like way faster, because you guys are all going to be outside bumbling around in the hot, hot sun. Can you imagine if you did I would love to do a zombie movie like on Oahu, or like an island, Oahu, because how fun would it be to be like, dress your zombies up in all these like bikinis and being baked in the sun, because most of the time they're just standing there, maybe one has like a Mai Tai still in their hand, and it would be funny just looking at down in Waikiki, just tourists walking around with their cameras around their neck and they're all zombie. It would just be funny.
It
would be comical.
Speaking of Waikiki has been famous for years for its Halloween party. And that would be your best chance to see a whole bunch of zombies, even in bikinis.
Hey, did you hear, speaking, of movies and stuff, did you hear that they're doing a NCIS Hawaii?
No, I did not.
They're canceling out NCIS New Orleans, and then they're going to do NCIS Hawaii. And I was like, so basically they're going to take all the New Orleans plot lines and
they're going to redo Hawaii. It with a Hawaii
and
cast.
I thought Hawaii, I thought Hawaii 5.0 and maybe Magnum P.I. were going to get the axe, because they're, starting all these new
Hawaii
shows.
5.0 they finished filming. So that show's done. Right. And Magnum P.I. is still going. But CBS, I think they just have a hold here, and I'm really appreciative.
Well, there's a fascination. There's a fascination with Hawaii. everybody wants to know more about Hawaii or living there and stuff. But the way they portray it in Hawaii 5.0 and Magnum P.I., the newer one. Magnum P.I., the newer one, is my absolute I don't like it. It's so cheese. I'm these people don't live in Hawaii. I'm sorry. This cast, nobody even looks like they would be from Hawaii. I don't think, except one lady.
But you know what I always get offended by is when they're running the bad neighborhood could be my neighborhood. And I'm like, hey, my neighborhood's not a bad neighborhood. Or
no, they always show it clothes hanging from the line. I was like, that's a real thing. I mean, you don't know how expensive electricity is. They're like, do the houses really look like that? People ask me they kind of look like shanties. They don't have air conditioning. They're not sealed up. And I was like, no, they look like that. And that's probably a $500,000-$600,000
Oh yeah,
home.
especially I mean, they never show going down. Okay, so the favorite drive for Magnum P.I. is along Kalanianaole Highway, which is, you're coming around Makapu'u side. That's that real beautiful shot that you always see there, Ferrari filmed. And then it really irritates me because on the title card shot with the title, they changed the backdrop to be the Ko'ola mountain range, which is in Kaneohe, on Kaneohe Bay.
Which is like totally
But,
far away.
You
It's
know,
like far away.
colos are gorgeous, and I know they're trying to include all these elements to just be like, wow. But just so you know, when you're driving down personally that road, you're going to be like, hey, that is not the right mountains.
Hey, there's some mountains,
missing. The
Like-
little islands are, there's two, which I don't know why they just didn't leave it, but there's two little islands instead of just the one, Chinaman's Hat, which is, he's always, when he was
Yep.
paddling, and I know when they filmed that kayak scene when he's paddling out by Chinaman's Hat, that was when we were having bad weather. It was like hurricane weather, and he was in surge water. So when you look and you see the current, you're like, oh, that's storm water. They put him out there.
They put the stunt man out there. They
No,
didn't put
that
the
was
real
really
actor.
him.
He's terrible.
That was it, because they have
Was
super
it?
close.
He's a
But,
terrible.
he's got an escort boat.
Terrible actor.
They're the escort boat's like
Yeah.
five feet away, and they're filming him just paddling a short distance.
Was it really worth it though?
Anyway.
Are we talking about? We're talking about the new age.
Yeah, the new
Magnum
one. Yeah.
P.I, right.
Okay, so the old one.
Yeah. Worst TV show hands down
Tom
right now.
Selleck was in it though, and he was cheesy, but it was funny.
No. I'm talking about.
Oh, the new one?
New one is probably the worst show
I know.
right now, because I'm like, no, you wouldn't inherit that. You would not have two Dobermans. Like everybody would know that you have two Dobermans.
But I think
and they're like me.
they had to pay homage to the original show.
I guess.
But Barack Obama bought that
I think I
property.
did a better job.
So the real estate that that first Magnum P.I, the Tom Selleck version, it was shot at what I knew was called the Eve Anderson Estate in Waimanalo, which is down that favorite road that the new Magnum P.I likes to drive down through, but it's in Waimanalo area. And so the house was very old, and Barack Obama, I think his friend or something helped him to buy it, and he's building a huge estate.
I thought for Nalo you couldn't buy it unless you were like native
No,
Hawaiian.
that's the beachfront side where he is. That's all private.
Oh.
Anybody can,
like where the Hobbit
anybody can buy it.
Is that where the Hobbit house is?
You're like the purple, the bright pink one.
No, there's one that's like looks like a Hobbit house.
Yes,
Like
yes,
it's like
yes,
little tree
yes,
houses.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
That
know
side.
what you're talking about.
But it's the side that's closer to the mountains is what you have to buy if you're a native Hawaiian and you have like $1 of land tax
Yes,
or whatever.
and so
Property
and
tax.
if you are a member of the Elks Club, I think it's the Elks Club.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's they're Masons. What is it? There's that big facility that you can rent out, and it's like 2 doors down from that property. It's like near the park. But anyway, there is like a ton of grassland parking over there right across. There's no buildings on the mountainside. And there is a plethora of homeless people. And I'm sure that when Barack Obama comes with his entourage, they're all going to be moved. And
Where are they going to go?
I really
Where are they
don't
gonna
know.
go?
We are so limited on our resources. Other states during the winter time have organizations and churches, and they think it's great if you send your homeless to Hawaii. But taxpayers, we actually get forced to have to send them back to their state because our resources are so limited just for the local population that are homeless. And there are children and families. There's like 800 children that are local children that are homeless because there's just not enough resources. And so please, if I could just make a plea to stop your state from sending your homeless to Hawaii because we don't have the resources. We are the #1 most expensive place to live. And I don't know why you think a homeless person is going to have any chance of surviving. It's devastating.
Well, they want to send them for the weather, right? But they don't realize like they get stuck there, and a lot of them have mental illness issues, and then you're dealing with people who actually are from Hawaii, and then they're homeless because they've lost their jobs or they can't afford to live. And then it just compounds itself. I mean, I remember working down by the Dole Cannery and there was just tons, but there's a shelter down there too.
Yeah.
And it would just be packed, you
Yeah.
know?
We need
When I
more
was going to
resources
school
for
there,
sure. We need more resources for sure.
yeah.
Every state does.
When I was going to school there, that's true. When I was going to school there, they made us volunteer in this like soup kitchen, and like all the local businesses would send like, you know, almost expired food, such as like Starbucks would send their pastries that were like from the day, you know, and people, you know, loaves of bread from bakeries and things. And it's open to everyone. There would be like a mix of college students. There was a college professor who ate there every day. There were obviously homeless people. And there were like people who would like cry and be like, this is the only meal I'm going to have today. We'd be giving them like loaves of bread and stuff. And like a lot of like older children with their, you know, disabled parents. And they would be like, we don't know where we're going to go tonight. We've been sleeping on the streets. Like, we got sent here. They would say, like, we got sent here and we thought it was going to be better and it's not. And you know, I was just surprised by, like, the mix of people that were there. Especially surprised, like, people who have jobs, like college professors that I knew.
A lot of people who have jobs are homeless.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to me. And college kids, like, that's not the place that I would suggest anybody going unless you have like everything paid for or you have a
and
job.
the dorms, let me just tell you, they're not the best. And off-campus housing rentals might be better, but you have to have, in Hawaii, you have to have your first month's rent. Plus, you have to have a deposit which is equal to your first month's rent. And that is not your last month deposit. That is returned to you upon damages that could have happened to the property. So you have to have you know, security deposit is what we call it here. And so that's double. So just let me just give you an idea. Like a 3 or 4 bedroom home in a good neighborhood is going to be $4,000 a month or higher.
Yeah, that's about right.
I know that in beach neighborhoods, it can be as high as $10,000 a month or higher.
And if you're looking at those $1 million properties, some of them are like $26,000 a month.
Yeah. I mean, because they're,
you know, and that's just crazy.
But
to
there
me.
are people who do come here and they do pay it. When you see the vacation rentals and you look at the Airbnbs and, you know, people in Hawaii, those are their family homes most likely. And so in order for them to live there, they have to rent out a portion of their home. So it has helped. Actually, that industry has helped. But when you know that you're coming into a neighborhood, you can't be having loud parties. You know, you're in a neighborhood with families. Please try to be respectful. Hawaii people, we're actually, we're kind of quiet and for the most part. And we try to, you know, because our neighbors, there's 5 feet to maybe 10 feet between you and your neighbor's wall. And in some places, it's the opposite side of a wall. There's a lot of those kind of, and, you know, we just don't have a lot of space. And if you're living in a building or a dorm or apartment, again, just try to be the cool neighbor. People are so stressed when they're struggling in those kind of situations.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say like violence was not on the, like, it wasn't something I was really fearful in Hawaii. I mean, of course, late at night, you don't like walk around like Chinatown down there.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
even Waikiki, some areas you don't walk around at night.
Oh yeah, Kohio.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, we wouldn't walk around there. But some of the student housing was off of Kohio, which is like near Waikiki, and like it's pretty scary down there. Shady. Shady's a good word.
Every neighborhood has there's a part of it that's not safe, and you shouldn't
like
be walking in every single neighborhood. There's always.
But people still do. I mean, a lot of people think like, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're ignorant to it, but a lot of people think they're just safe walking certain places. But you're a target because you are a tourist.
So try not to look like one as best you can.
Yeah,
try not to be obvious and, you know, carrying the camera and taking pictures every second. Try to look like you belong a little bit.
Yeah. Now Kaka'ako is not that bad though.
There's just different pockets. You just got to be careful. I mean, just be vigilant. I mean, Hawaii, we're part of the United States of America. And we have every kind of person here. It's an international melting pot. We have a lot of diversity. I will say that. We have so much diversity. Oh, but I
Yeah.
did want to talk about neighborhoods. Since we spent so much time talking about Waikiki, what are your tips about visiting Waikiki?
Well, I think Waikiki is like one of those things. A lot of people don't realize like the
Mm-hmm.
hotels, they might be $230 to $400
Mm-hmm.
a night, but don't forget about the taxes, the resort taxes, the hotel fees, the tourism
Parking.
tax, and then your parking
Yes.
fee. I mean, at the Halikoa, which is like, the rates are based on your military rank. It's a pretty decent hotel on the beach, and but you have to pay for
Mm-hmm.
parking. And a lot of people, and they don't have valet, they don't have all that stuff, fancy stuff. Now, if you're staying at like the Moana Surfrider, valet is like $30 to
Mm-hmm.
$40 a night, and people don't take that into account. And there's really no self parking. So if you want to rent a car, just know that you're going to have those fees. One of the things that I used to do when I wanted to go to Waikiki is I would park at Ala Moana
Mm-hmm.
Mall in a area that didn't say 1 hour parking because you have to
Yep.
watch for that. And I would take the free pink trolley. It's free if you buy something, but it's $2 cash if you don't have that, and take the trolley down into
Mm-hmm.
Waikiki. And you could get dropped off anywhere pretty much. There's stops like, every
Yep.
mile or so. And you just can spend all day down there. The last trolley runs around like 11
Mm-hmm.
p.m. But most people don't stay that long. So, you just get back on the trolley and it takes you right back to Ala Moana Mall, and you have free
Mm-hmm.
parking. Another tip for parking is that you could park by the zoo where there is some free parking, but that gets snatched up by like 5 to 8 o'clock in the
Yep.
morning.
Street parking. Street parking.
So, between street parking. Yeah, and that was kind of difficult. I would also go to restaurants or like a
Mm-hmm.
spa, and I would park at the hotel because I could get validated, and I would just spend the whole
In
day
Waikiki,
down there.
absolutely.
So there's,
Dude, every
yeah,
time,
there's all
yeah,
different types
everywhere
of
you go,
ways.
ask for validation. If you make a
Yeah,
purchase in any part of the hotel, getting validation, just keep extending it. They just have little stickers that they add on that's like, this is good for an hour. This is good for 2 hours. And yeah.
right. Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center, the pink building is like that. Just make sure you pay your ticket
Yep.
before you leave because they don't have an attendant. But I would just buy something from the food court, or I would go to a restaurant there and I could park all day. And it was like a small fee, like $6 instead of $40 to $50, cap or whatever. The new International Marketplace also has something like that. So it has a bigger
Yep.
parking garage. You can park there, but you just have to buy something. And there's like lots of little eateries
Mm-hmm.
and things. So you don't have to break the bank to, go there. There's a really great place for mochi donuts. Oh,
My favorite is
yeah,
ice
so good.
cream at Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center. There's Royal Hawaiian, Hilton Hawaiian Village. I'm sorry, Hilton Hawaiian Village. Lepert's ice cream. They have like the large, the waffle
Oh,
cone.
yeah.
That they used to they used to have a location in Ala Moana Shopping Center, and they lost it. So if I want to have it, I have to go there. Or I found out that their original location is on Kauai, and I went there when I was there.
You know what I miss? I miss poi dogs. It used to be on Kuhio, and what they would do is toast the bun from the inside out for a hot dog, where they called it a poi dog. And they would put the ketchup, mustard, or the mango chutney or pineapple chutney into it. And then they would stick the hot dog in this like hole of a bun that was toasted from the inside out. And it was delicious. And I think the only location they now have is on Kauai. Like, I think the Waikiki location
That's such a
closed.
bummer.
It was so sad. It was such a good concept. Like, I feel like I could make $1 million like doing that somewhere around here. Like, who wouldn't like a hot dog like that? It's cheap, it's easy, it's like, it's innovative. You know what? It's our food
Yeah.
truck.
In
Our
fact,
food truck.
yeah. So places like that are so much better than, we don't have like the big chains. We mentioned this in a previous episode. We don't have the
Yeah.
big drive-through chains that, people are used to on the mainland, like In-N-Out or Chipotle or Pretty much most of them. If you can name it, we don't have it. But
Yeah.
we have so many wonderful mom and pop places, these tiny little hole in the walls. Don't be afraid to go in and try something because everything is delicious.
It'll be crowded, but
In
do
fact,
it. I mean, even in the times
crowds
of
are a good
pandemic,
sign because if there's a crowd,
crowds are always,
especially if they're local people, I always look to see who's lining up there. Is it
yeah.
local people or is it just hungry tourists? Because if it's
Well, I always felt like if there's a bunch of Asian people in a Asian restaurant, like you're doing good. Like you're
that's
all
legit.
set,
Yeah. If they approve, it's legit.
Yeah. What else about Waikiki? I mean, it's fun. Don't take any flyers from people. Like it's weird. Like don't litter. There was a lot of gun ranges down in
like
Waikiki.
inside buildings and hotels. Yeah, okay, so
buildings. Yeah, like a shooting range, and I'm like, why? Why is this happening? There's a lot of fancy stores. There's one of the products that I really like that, they have it everywhere, but I think it's Miley. The skincare products.
I have some lotions.
Oh, it smells like tuberose and like gardenias and blah, like Hawaii, all in it. You should go and get the local
and bring
products.
It all home for your friends. You know what? When you
so-
come to Hawaii and you're shopping in Waikiki and you're like your friends and your family are just like, bring me something back. When you walk out of a hotel, there are these ABC stores. They kind of like they're kind of like a 7-Eleven. They're like a convenience store, but they sell T-shirts. They sell T-shirts so cheap. But
don't eat their spam musubi. It's old and dry.
And I'm sorry, a lot of things are overpriced. But don't buy the T-shirts. Your family doesn't want T-shirts. You want to bring back something.
Local
you want to bring
products.
back just like those
Coffee.
lotions. You want to bring back the smell of Hawaii.
Lotions.
Anything that smells like pikake or gardenia or plumeria. You want to bring those things back. You want to bring chocolate. We're known for our Hawaiian chocolate.
Oh, I love Big Island candies.
Shortbread.
Oh my goodness. In
Dip
Ala Moana.
chocolate.
Oh, Hawaiian Pineapple Company. Oh my, no, it's the Pineapple Cookie Company or something like Hawaiian Pineapple Cookie
like
Company.
a bunch.
They give out free samples.
Go find them.
Cookie Corner. Go get the samples. I mean, they usually don't limit you, but they can. I might be guilty of that. But the Big Island candies in the lower level of Ala Moana, like they will feed you brownies, like chocolate bars, and they'll just keep feeding you if you want it. Like just keep putting your hand out. And they even have like water dispensers so you can just refresh your palate.
Keep trying things.
Go again.
But yeah, those are the things that you should take home to your family. If you have a Costco membership, you can buy these things in bulk. And and then you, instead of sticking it in your luggage, go ahead and mail it to yourself. Use the U.S. Post Office.
Mail it or buy another luggage.
There is, by the way, a U.S. Post Office inside Ala Moana Shopping Center on the ground floor.
Why am I not surprised?
There's also
by that?
a monetary exchange.
I did not know that.
Like a foreign money exchange. And
yeah, you got to find it though. Like some of these places are hard to find in Ala Moana because
Ala Moana, by the way, is the size of a city block, end to end, corner to corner.
This is the mall.
It is the largest open air shopping mall in the world, and it has every single high end designer that you can imagine. They're all there. These over there. And their Waikiki stores, they are like their most expensive locations in the world. They have to be, just because of how much we charge for rent here. But those are if you want to see the best of Gucci or all these other high-end brands that I can't remember right now, but they all...
Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Coach, Lululemon,
they're
Aesop,
all there. Yeah.
All these things.
So on Waikiki... You'll see their number one stores. And you'll also see a bunch of them in Ala Moana Shopping Center. Yep. They're all in one place.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous. Like it's... And do we end up shopping there? Yes. Yes, we do. Because it's
a lot of people fly to Hawaii to shop here because the sales price on the taxes is cheaper.
Yeah. The taxes are cheaper. It's like 4.75%.
So if you bought the same bag Louis Vuitton in California, it's 10%, almost 8 to 10% taxes. But here it's 4.25.
Yeah. I think it's 4.25 to
4.25 to
4.75 or something like that. Yeah.
up. I think at most 5.25%. It depends on what you're buying.
There is a food tax there. There is a food tax. I don't have a food tax in Texas, but the sales tax kills me. 8.25. Like I was like, wow, that's a lot.
Hawaii, we get a lot of taxes. Everything is taxed. But I will say that I know so many international travelers that tell me that they come to Hawaii just to shop the luxury brands because the taxes, when you're buying a bag, it's $1,000 minimum. It starts there.
Yeah.
And to pay 8% versus 4.25%, that's a big difference. Yeah.
Right.
It's a plane ticket.
And usually those luxury goods in like international is like way more expensive than in America. Like it's just how it is. Like going in Hong Kong and Japan, like looking at these high-end stores, their stuff is like maybe 20-30% more than what it is in America. So I understand. We have people crossing the border here in Texas that just go shopping because they say that a lot of things are more expensive down in Mexico, and I totally believe it. I mean, it's just the importing
tax.
and the exporting and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. But I would say, in a nutshell, Waikiki is great. Lots of good restaurants. I would say get on Open Table, make reservations way ahead of time. The Cheesecake Factory is like one of the most popular restaurants. They do not take reservations. So the best time to go is right before the dinner rush because you'll be waiting 2 to 3 hours for a table and it is not
Duke
worth
Kahanamoku's.
Oh yeah, Duke's. Duke's is great. You can make a reservation.
Yes.
Yeah, you can, but you have to make it maybe 2 to 3 weeks in
so
advance.
make a good reservation for Duke Kahanamoku's. They are right on the beach, right by the Moana Surfrider. I forgot what hotel they're in.
Yep, Outrigger.
So many great places.
They're in the Outrigger hotel.
And if you're an Elks Club member, the Elks Club have their own clubhouse and parking right on the beach.
So does Outrigger Canoe
Club. But a lot of people are Elks members around the nation, around the world.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of good places. Maybe in the next podcast we can talk about other neighborhoods, but I think with Waikiki, you just got to go down there knowing it's going to be a big touristy thing. Lots of great shops, lots of options for you to get local wear and support local businesses and, or support like the big businesses. It doesn't matter. It's the atmosphere being down there. Have some shaved ice, watch the sunsets.
The iconic Diamond Head
on the beach
views and
Diamond Head is
and
awesome.
those are pretty safe beaches. Waikiki, because the reef is so far out, it's not real wavy. The surfers are way out further, but you're not. It's pretty easy to swim, so I think a lot of people like it.
I think one of the best views that I've seen is from Rumfire. They have like outdoor, they have the torches going, they have lots of sofas and seating area, and you can watch the sunset and see Diamond Head in the background.
Isn't that one at Sheraton?
So I would support that.
Sheraton.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah. And then the fireworks every Friday night put on by the Hilton Hawaiian Village.
From the Hilton.
Yes, Hilton.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the lagoon.
The lagoon is also fabulous. You want to try every kind of water toy. They have them for rent there. And they're pretty affordable.
And you can get ice cream and sit there.
Oh, there's also some free parking right over there around Hilton Hawaiian Village in that parking lot. But you got to watch those signs.
Watch the signs because my car got towed one time.
Yeah, but
I was like, man, I'm so lucky I got parking. And then they get towed.
Because they have signs from certain parking stalls to certain parking stalls for different activities. It is a major harbor, but there's also beach. And so for the beach goers, there's free parking there. I don't know if you're allowed to, if you can get away with overnight, you might get towed overnight. But if you're coming and you're renting a car,
I think you will.
Can actually rent a car per day. Rent it in the morning. They'll come pick you up, some of them, or you can easily get a shuttle or something to them and rent your car and return it that same day.
Yeah. I mean, these are all really good tips. And I think, as we move along in our podcast, we'll continue to drop tips on your travels to Oahu and Waikiki. And then, eventually we'll probably jump islands and try to give you guys more tips. especially about Maui, because Maui and Kauai, those are like probably the other two. Big Island, yeah, probably up there too because of the coffee and everything, but it has been an absolute pleasure. Aloha Friday. Enjoy your pauhana and put your feet up and watch the sunset. So thank you for joining us. Please check us out, mytaisasunset.com, Facebook, Twitter, Medium, all YouTube, and we have all our podcasts out there on pretty much every platform. So just check us out. Keep Googling us. We're going to have updates soon, and I'll post the emergency preparedness slide deck and all the good things.
Until we meet again, ahui ho.